Today I'm here taking a look at Blood of an Englishman. This is a two-player competitive card game that plays out in an interesting sort of solitaire, sort of free cell style, or at least it looks that way when you start, but it does end up a little bit differently. So it comes in a small box, and it is from Renegade Game Studios. And basically this is all the components in the game. There are 50 cards and 4 rules reference cards. Basically they tell you how the giant and the jack player take their turns. And that's what this is. This is a game of Jack and the Beanstalk, where one player plays as Jack trying to build 3 beanstalks, and one player plays as the giant who's trying to stop Jack. And it's very, very simple. And it is asymmetrical as well, which makes it a little bit more interesting. So the Jack player is sort of the faster, nimbler character trying to create runs of beanstalk cards. And you'll see that there are some cards in here with beanstalks pictured on them. And they're numbered from 1 through 9, and there are 3 sets of each of those, 1 through 9. Then you have 2 sets of cards with the words fee, fi, fo, and fum on them. And those are the cards that the giant will be using to win. And then finally you have 2 sets of the gold, the goose, and the harp cards. So you have 2 each of those 3 cards. And now the way the game works is Jack's going to be trying to pull cards off of the fronts and the backs of different rows to build runs of cards from low to high. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can be 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But in any case, he wants to have a group of cards that goes from low to high, 6 cards, and then cap it off with one of these goose, harp, or gold cards. And he can only take from the front to place on his beanstalk, or the back of any of these columns to place on his beanstalk. He can also move cards from the front of one stack to the front of another. And he can finally move cards from the back of one stack to the front. And on each of Jack's turns, he will have 3 actions to do. Then the giant will go. The giant, on the other hand, can only do a couple of things, and he can only do one thing per turn. So the giant can move exactly 2 cards from a stack to 2 other stacks. Or he can take a full set of 4 cards and just, boom, plop them onto another stack. And finally, and most destructively, he can choose any beanstalk card here and say, I'm going to remove this card from the game completely. And that's going to be his way that he is stopping Jack from acquiring maybe a card that he really needs. And the giant's sole purpose in this game is to either stop Jack from creating his 3 beanstalks, or get the words fee, fi, fo, and fum all in a row, or in a column, 1, 2, 3, 4 on top of each other in any order. Or lastly, he can actually get these cards to be along all the fronts of 4 columns. Those are the ways that the giant wins. Jack does have to get 3 different special cards at the tops of all of his beanstalks. He's got to cap it off with a gold, a goose, and a harp in whatever order, but never 2 of the same. And that's really it. Play goes back and forth, Jack making 3 moves, and the giant making 1 move until one player has won based on any of those victory conditions.
So that's Blood of an Englishman, and it's a very simple game, and it's good for filling a little bit of time when you have 2 players. I wouldn't say that it blew me away, but I wouldn't say that it's bad either. There's literally nothing wrong with the game. I wondered if maybe the destruction element of the giant would be too powerful for the Jack player, and trying to do that, it proved not possible, and the reason for that is that Jack doesn't have to make straight runs of cards. He can skip a card, so you can't just say, oh, I'm just going to destroy all the fives and I won in 4 moves. No, because he doesn't need fives. He actually doesn't need 3 whole sets of cards. You would need to destroy all the 4s, all the 5s, all the 6s, and 2 7s or 2 3s, something like that. So it would take a lot of destruction actions to mathematically defeat Jack in that way. Otherwise, you'll have to be reacting to what Jack does. If Jack starts a run on a 3, then he's taking a risk. You can stop it somehow. There is a really interesting feeling of asymmetry here, with Jack being able to do a bunch of little moves and the giant just saying, 4 cards. And the different ways that players win is interesting enough that you can play one side and switch off to the other side. So, Blood of an Englishman, interesting little game, very inexpensive, plays 2 players, plays very quickly. I'm going to give it a 3. It's a satisfactory game. There's really nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't say that it's amazing, but it's satisfactory. Fine game. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like the videos, please do like and subscribe and follow us, especially on Instagram, where I have really been getting into posting photos, as that's sort of my thing. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/GamerNode, and on Twitter @GamerNode. As always, I'm Eddie Inzauto. Have fun out there.